All right, Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Kakudas. I want to give double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, and the sincere Shalom to all the Akim out here that's doing and pushing his work in truth and in sincerity. I want to go on this video that this truth is hard to get. It is really a secret place. Okay? And I asked ChatGPT that question, of why is it so hard to find the truth? Okay? And there's, many different reasons. Okay? And we're going, touch on them. But one of the things that, I've been seeing lately is a lot of people, especially when it comes down to the internet, okay, they, let's say like the app files, right? They are being put out there, and you got people that are saying this, saying that, and they're not getting the full story. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why it's, the truth is hard to get, because people are, half-assing things. You have people who are naysayers. They'll say, that's not the truth, or that couldn't be the case. Okay. That's another reason why it's hard to find the truth. But then you got the people who are sick, and they twist stuff. They'll put stuff as far as AI and stuff like that. And it's like, you don't need to do all that. So I just been looking at a lot of this stuff, and I'm just like, man, the fact that we have this truth, and we know about these things, is truly a secret place, because we can say these things to a lot of people, which we've been saying for years, from the apostles. They've been saying it for years, on down, the things that we've been saying, and some people, they starting to wake up to some of this stuff, but they're still not getting the message straight. They still, distorting it. Some people are realizing that, a lot of the stuff that we've been saying is, it's true. They find out what we saying is true, but they finding out about it the hard way. Okay? And some people are still confused as to what's really going on. Okay? But, we're going to have an influx of people, man, that's going to start gravitating towards what we say, when we go back, when they go back and do their research, if, somebody really has that mindset to do so, the Lord put the spirit on them to do it, to research it, they'll find out what we've been saying. Okay. But, it says, it's something people in every culture and age have wrestled with. Okay. It says we live in a world full of conflicting voices. Today, especially, you're surrounded by different religions, different philosophies, political agendas, social media opinions, experts who disagree. Everyone claims they're right. When voices are loud and constant, it becomes hard to tell which ones are honest and which ones are misleading. The Bible even talks about this. Okay, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. Okay, that's 2 Timothy 2:4-3. Okay, and you might have people that's in the truth, brothers, or sisters that's in the truth. They may get caught up in a lot of the, the lies and stuff like that. Hearing a lot of the bull crap out there, instead of hearing that from the Lord's mouth. Okay, it says people often mix truth with bias. Very few people speak with no agenda. Most messages are shaped by money, power, popularity, fear, personal experiences. So instead of pure truth, you often get partial truth mixed with opinion. Okay, and one of the partial truths, right, is that a lot of these people have been idolizing, okay, their these celebrities. Okay, they've been idolizing, politicians and regular people. Okay, because they done music or whatever the case may be. He acts good, so and ain't or this food tastes good and stuff like that. Ain't no way that they could have done this, and those people are too far gone. Okay, you've been so deceived and into that, you bought into what these people say that you don't have nothing else to stand on. Okay, you don't got no foundation. Okay, so a lot of these people are still hooked by the influences that these as this says, the bias. They're still hooked by the bias. Okay, they're still biased to the society. Okay, so once the society starts rolling out that MOTB, okay, people out of fear of going not wanting to go against the society, okay, they're gonna take it. Okay, just like they took that jump shot. Okay, so it's a lot of people who have opinions about the truth. Okay, but it's not according to all the facts. Okay, and it says Yahweh Shah warned about this, right? Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets. These people believe in these false prophets. Anytime you got TD Jakes is a power bottom, talking about he's covered by the blood, even if he did this, he's covered, and see, a lot of people still believe them. A lot of people still follow them, and it's like you should really, counsel that person, get rid of them. Okay, don't listen to them no more. But these people have the mindset, oh, we can forgive them. The Lord forgives. You right. We all fall short. It says our emotions can block us. Sometimes the hardest obstacle isn't out there, it's inside us. Okay, we all have things that affect how we see truth. Pride, hurt, anger, loyalty to a group, desire to be accepted. If a truth challenges something we love or believe, it's natural to resist it, even unconsciously. Okay, and a lot of these people they're not really to unplug from this matrix, this simulation. Okay, they're not ready to give up everything that they was known and taught. Okay, heck, Bitcoin going down, and you got people that's still saying, you know what, it's gonna bounce back up, it's gonna rise back up, and these people probably done made all type of money from off of it. Instead of thinking, okay, I got in, I got my money, and this might just be the end of it. Okay, this is the tail, and the good thing about what we believe in is that all this stuff is gonna come to a close at real soon, man. Okay, and we watching this society crumble and fall right before our eyes. Okay, whereas though these people, they still think, oh, you know what, it's gonna bounce back 2030. It's just taking a dip. It dipped before, but did it ever dip under these type of circumstances? Did everything fail under these circumstances? Okay, this is the wicked being revealed. And people still don't believe that that they're, all that wicked. You know, it's like, well, you got some people that are, going out their way to, go to some of the people's houses and stuff like that, making questions and stuff like that. But the thing is, a lot of these people are so wicked that they feel like they don't got to tell you the truth. Okay? So it says, the heart is deceitful above all things. Jeremiah 17:9. Okay? Truth usually requires humility and patience. Okay? Real truth rarely comes instantly. Okay? And when these people find out the real truth, okay, and it hits them instantly, that's a real rude awakening. Oh man, those Israelites was telling the truth the whole time. Oh man, Yahweh Shah, the one with the world and called Jesus, was a so-called black man the whole time. You got people that are out here denying these things, even though the truth and all the proof is out there. It says, real truth comes. It takes studying, reflection, willingness to admit I might be wrong. So self-examination. It says, and time. Okay? So in this truth that we are a part of, this secret place, you took the time to study. You took the time to reflect on yourself and to grow. Okay? And to admit that you are wrong and that you could be wrong even, about certain things. Okay? Always constantly examining yourself. Okay? And it takes time. It takes time to grow in this thing. You ain't just going to come into this thing, get this thing overnight, and just automatically understand everything. Okay? So these people that, are caught up in these files, and the truth that's been coming out, from all of it, okay? The time is short. The time is very short because this man's reign of terror is coming to a close, is coming to an end. Okay? So it ain't going to be no, you get to be able to have the time to actually, dive into this thing and, the Lord could come back 50 years from now. Okay? Before you start trying to figure out the truth. No, the truth is out there right now, man. And it's in front of your faces. Okay? But it takes studying. You got to look into it. You got research. Okay? And you got to look at yourself and figure out whether it's stuff about yourself that you got to clean up. Okay? And guess what? It is. Okay? It says, our culture prefers quick answers, simple slogans, viral clips. Okay? Some people got to see the shit in front of their face, man. You got to see a person getting put to death. Okay? For you to believe. Okay? It says, so deep truth gets drowned out by shallow certainty. Okay? And that goes into what we are part of, the things that it took for us to get this truth. Okay? Whereas though these people, they come up, they want to hear what we say, and they want it to be real fast. They want to just get this word and just go. Some people may get it like that, but some people don't got the patience and the time to actually look at what we say. Some people just walk by, they're here, look at us and stuff like that, hear what we say. We could say one thing, be on a certain topic, and then they just be like, oh, nope, that ain't for me, I gotta go. Not studying, not researching, whatever, and when people walk by, okay, our camp in particular, sometimes, what the word church means to call out, we calling out to the, hopeful elect, but sometimes we might be on the topic of something, and we might say something, and another person might, they walk by there and, they shake their head, because it may apply to them or whatever the case may be, but they don't want to get it. They don't want to take, the opportunity to figure out why are these people saying this stuff, and could I be wrong about what I'm doing? It says spiritual perspective. Since you often ask about the Bible, I'm always asking about the Bible. From a biblical view, Scripture teaches that spiritual truth isn't just an intellectual issue. It's a heart issue. Okay? Yahushua said, if any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine. That's John 7:17. Meaning sincerity in obedience matter and understanding. So a lot of people aren't sincere. Okay? Somebody might have the truth, but that don't mean that they sincere about, pushing the truth. Okay? I always say, that's pushing his word and sincerity and truth. Okay? It says, the Bible also says, the God of this world has blinded the minds. Okay? And that's irreparable damage for some people. Okay? So there's a spiritual struggle over truth itself. Okay? Truth often costs something. Real truth usually demands change. If you accept it, you might have to let go of habits, walk away from certain people, change direction, be unpopular. So many people avoid truth not because it's hidden, but because it's uncomfortable. Men love darkness rather than light. John 3:19. Truth is simple, but not easy. Okay? In many ways, truth is straightforward. Love what is right, reject what is wrong, seek God, walk honestly. But living it out is hard. That's why Yahushua said, narrow is the way which leads on to life, and broad is the way that leads on to destruction. Okay? So a lot of people out here, they don't have that, straightforward, okay, loving what is right, okay, the right things to do, the moral things to do, okay, and rejecting what is wrong. Okay? And this is just the tip of the iceberg to certain people, but we've been seeing this thing coming from miles away for years. Okay? So this is nothing new to Hebrew Israelites, that's into the scriptures and bringing out the truth. We not amazed at, the spiritual wickedness that's going on. Okay? But those who may have been blinded, if that's what it takes for you to, realize what's going on, and you come into the truth, that's a good thing. Amidst all of this stuff that, is happening in the world. Okay? It says, John 8:32. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Okay? And when you come into the truth, okay? This is Psalm 91:1. He that dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Okay? Because what's going to happen is the Lord about to destroy this place. Okay? And the sinners of our people are going to be put to death. Okay? But those who are of the elect, they're going to remain. Okay? And the elect is going to be the ones who got this truth. Okay? And they're going to, as the scriptures say right here, I will say of the Lord, which his name is Yahweh, and his son name is Yahushua. He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in him will I trust. Okay? So, you got to put your trust in the Lord, man. Okay? Trust that the Lord going to lead you onto the right, path, the right way. Okay? Study to show that you are approved. And a lot of these people out here, they're not studying, and trying to make sure that they, that their souls and spirits is right. Okay? Mainly, chiefly, of the house of Israel. Okay? So with that, Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to say shalom till next time.